Have you ever experienced something so strange that no logical explanation can make sense of it? A force, a presence that lingered long after the lights went out. Well, that's exactly what happened to Bucky one night in his apartment, a series of eerie events that left him questioning everything he thought he knew about the world. Hello, I'm Arudai and welcome to Moonskull. If you're looking for tales of horror, the paranormal, sci-fi, or the unexplained, then you are in the right place. I know you 5,000 wonderful fear addicts, as well as the 30% of you closet horror buffs who have still not subscribed yet, are eager to get to the story that I just mentioned. So, let's dive into Bucky's chilling experience. Bucky had always been the skeptical type. He didn't believe in ghosts, spirits, or anything supernatural. To him, everything could be explained with science or reason, even if it was just beyond his immediate understanding. But that changed one night in September of 2023, when Bucky experienced something that would challenge everything he knew about the world. It all started with a simple leak in his apartment. Nothing too alarming, just a few gallons of rainwater that had pooled in the ceiling above. The leak made the smoke alarm go off in the middle of the night, and Bucky, half asleep, cleaned it up. A bit of water had soaked through the ceiling, but it seemed like no big deal. After drying the mess, he went back to bed, exhausted and ready to get back to his routine. But soon, things began to escalate. Within 1 week of the leak, Bucky started noticing strange occurrences around his apartment. Towels in his bathroom would be found tossed on the floor. At first, he figured it was just his air conditioning knocking them down, but after a few times, something more unnerving happened. One day, while sitting in his living room, he watched as a towel flew off the rack, moving with enough force that it had bounced off the wall. Now, Bucky was living alone, no pets or family members of any kind, and he couldn't explain how it could have possibly happened. There was no breeze, no disturbance. It was as if the towel had just been flung by an invisible hand. But the strange events did not stop there. Soon, kitchen pans started flying off the counters, sometimes without a sound. The stomping sounds from above, though, were the worst of all. Late at night, between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m., Bucky would hear heavy footsteps moving across the ceiling, despite the fact he was on the top floor. He tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was just the plumbing or vibrations from one of the neighboring units, but the sounds didn't match any logical explanation. They weren't consistent. They seemed to occur only late at night. Bucky also began hearing scratching noises, heavy scraping sounds across the walls and the ceiling that were near his bed. He thought it could be raccoons or pests, but nothing he saw made sense. The noises were getting worse. And by November, Bucky experienced something that made him realize that this wasn't just a coincidence. Sitting in his beanbag chair one evening, Bucky felt a sharp sting on his shin, like a paper cut. He looked down and saw a red scratch that was running up and down his leg. Now, his first instinct was to chalk it up to his imagination, but the next night, he felt a similar pain. This time on his foot. When he looked down, he saw a full bite mark, as if something had sunk its teeth into his toes. At that moment, Bucky realized that whatever was haunting his apartment wasn't just a trick of the mind. It was interacting with him, physically. The activity escalated further. One night, while he was in the living room, Bucky saw it. A figure, emaciated and pale, with dark matted hair and cataract-like eyes, sitting hunched in a corner. It was wearing nothing but a filthy white t-shirt and boxer shorts, its body slumped in a sorrowful posture. Bucky froze. The figure stared at him for what seemed like forever before vanishing into thin air. Terrified, Bucky didn't know what to do. Was this something to pity? Or was it something more malicious? After the incident, Bucky began doing everything he could to stop the unsettling presence. He burned white sage, hoping it would bring peace to the space. He recited mantras, telling the presence to leave and just leave him in peace. The activity did calm for a while, but when the roofers came in January to fix the damage, the strange occurrences returned. The stomping came back, the pans started flying again, and the presence reappeared, sulking in the corner of the living room. A miserable, sad figure that seemed to lurk just out of sight. Bucky did what he could to protect himself, but he never fully understood what had happened during those months. Was it a spirit? An entity? Or just his mind unraveling from the stress? He never figured it out, but he knew one thing for sure. The entity he had shared space with was real. And there you have it, folks, a tale of skepticism shattered by the unexplainable. What do you think happened to Bucky? Was it just a series of strange coincidences, or did he truly encounter something supernatural? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you want more of this kind of wild paranormal real-life madness, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe, because we got plenty more where that came from. I'm Arudai, and until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, sometimes the scariest things are the ones we can't explain.